Hi everyone, Animal Girl here, back with another edition of TV Talk. It's Tuesday, and that means it's Star Wars Day. And this week's episode of The Clone Wars was Witches of the Mist. After Savage's attack on an outlying Jedi temple, the Council sends Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker to investigate. Traveling to the home of the Night Sisters, the two Jedi Knight travel to the village of the men to talk with their leader, only to learn that the person they're looking for was actually taken away by one of the women. The two Jedi then travel to the village of the Night Sisters to speak with Mother Talza, learning that Dooku actually took the person they're looking for away. But can the Jedi actually trust that Mother Talza and her Night Sisters are trying to help them? Or will the Force reveal to them that something more is going on? Okay, things I liked about this episode. We actually get a little more information on the social dynamics of this planet. We learn that the women of the planet, and I can't remember the name of the planet if it's even mentioned, are actually dominant to the men. This is a matriarchal society. I think I mentioned that in either last week's video or the first or the one before that, Night Sisters. And we get two pieces of information that lead us to believe that. First off, when Obi-Wan and Anakin talk to the leader of the men, he states that one of Mother Talza's women didn't come to their village, doesn't say who it is, whether or not he actually knows is unclear, and that her sole purpose of coming to the village was to select a mate. Which leads us to believe that the men have absolutely no say on who they're going to marry. The women come in, they size up the men, they make their selection, and whoever they pick, that's who they're going to marry. Now, whether or not this is actually true is uncertain. This is kind of a gray area piece of information, because we don't know if the leader of the men was actually in league with Mother Talza to help Ventress get her revenge on Count Dooku. And the reason I say this is in last week's episode, when she's testing the men. Now, this very easily could have been how the women choose the men. They put them through rigorous activities to see who is the strongest, the most loyal, and, the most ideal mate. But she keeps bringing up Jedi. How will you be able to fight the Jedi, blah, 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 or defend against the Jedi, blah, 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 while she's testing them. Now, granted, it is common knowledge that Ventress is Force sensitive, and she has enemies among the Jedi, so that could have you could very easily interpret that to mean that she expects the Jedi to, at some point, possibly figure out that she's still alive and come looking for her. Well, not necessarily that she expects them to come looking for her, but she wants her mate to believe they're going to come looking for her. And also, there is the possibility that her kids will be Force sensitive, and that the Jedi will come looking for them to take to the temple for training. And that might be why she's bringing up the Jedi, because she wants whoever ends up being the one that she takes away from the village under the guise of being her mate to believe that she doesn't want their children, if they're Force sensitive, to be taken away. But again, this is a very gray area of thought on why, on the females being dominant to the men. The stronger point is when they actually come to the village of the Night Sisters, and Mother tells us faking that, or not really faking, but leading them to believe that she has no control over the men, or neither do her women. They have no control over the men once on the planet. And Obi-Wan basically says that something along the lines of that they know that the women of this planet are the dominant gender. And Obi-Wan doesn't lie. And I know what you're saying. Well, wait a minute. In A New Hope, he basically lies to Luke when he says that Vader killed his father. And then again in The Empire Strikes Back when he says that Yoda was his teacher, because we know for a fact that Vader is Anakin, who is Luke's father, and that Obi-Wan was trained by Qui-Gon Jinn. But first off, we're going to touch on the whole Vader killing Anakin thing. Now, yes, technically Vader did not kill Anakin because Vader is Anakin. But as Obi-Wan mentions in Return of the Jedi, what he said was actually true from a certain point of view, because when Vader came into being, Anakin Skywalker basically ceased to exist. So in a way, Obi-Wan did not lie to Luke when he said that. Did he lead Luke to believe that Anakin and Vader were two separate entities? Yes, you could say in a way he did do that. And when Luke started to believe that Vader did literally kill his father and was this separate person from Anakin, Obi-Wan didn't correct him, didn't say, oh, I meant that figuratively, blah, blah. I think the reason he phrased it the way he did in A New Hope is, and this is more from an audience point of view, they didn't want to reveal to the audience really the dynamic of the Skywalker family right away. They might not have even known where that was going at that point in time. B, and this is more from the character's point of view, I believe he thought not telling Luke that Vader was actually his father, it was more sparing Luke emotionally and mentally what would happen with that knowledge. He possibly planned on telling him when he was older and able to understand that, because you got to remember, in A New Hope, Luke's 19. I mean, that's pretty mature, but it's not quite there yet. You still have some things to learn. You're considered an adult, but you're not considered adult. It's kind of that gray transitional area. And by the time we get to Revenge of The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, excuse me, Luke is 23, or 23, 22. It's been about 3-4 years since A New Hope, so he's a little more older, a little more mature. We actually see this in the progression of the movie in The Empire Strikes Back. Luke is way more mature than he was when we first meet him in A New Hope, where he's basically still wants to do the things the kids wants to do. He wants to hang out with his friends and all that and everything. But we'll talk more about that in movie talk on those particular movies. I just wanted to bring it up in here because it does raise to that point here. And secondly, the point of Yoda being his teacher. Well, technically Yoda was his teacher. Yoda taught all of the younglings before they went on to be Padawan learners and were chosen by a Jedi Knight or a Jedi Master for individual training. This is mentioned in Rebels. We'll talk about that when we get to that particular episode. We see it in Clone Wars. We do see Yoda teaching the younglings in Clone Wars, and we see Yoda teaching a group of younglings in Attack of the Clones. So, when in The Empire Strikes Back, Obi-Wan tells Luke that Yoda was the Jedi Master who taught him, he was telling the truth to a degree. He was actually taught as a youngling by Yoda. So, again, that's not a lie. It's just he doesn't go in and say that he had another teacher after Yoda. So, again, it's not a lie. So, those two bring to my point of fact that Obi-Wan doesn't lie. So, that's why I feel that statement, when he says to Mother Talza that they know that the females of the planet of this particular planet they're on are the dominant gender, we know that has to be somewhat true just because of the fact that he really doesn't lie. Okay, question or things I didn't like about this episode. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Basically, I had issues with the way the arc ended. I feel this arc was basically designed to, A, give us backstory on Ventress, and B, introduce Savage. Now, okay, I have no issues with that. I actually did like that we got backstory on Ventress. I would have loved it if they had done an episode where we got backstory on Grievous, but say la vida, we didn't get that. And I did like the fact that they introduced Savage, and this was a very good way to introduce Savage, because they introduced him without introducing him as he is now at the end of this arc, and then jumping back and doing a flashback backstory like they did with Ventress. Not that that was a bad thing. They actually introduced him as he was before, and we see this progression, so we get this, oh my god, if he hadn't met Ventress, he probably wouldn't have been like this, kind of thing. But I did have issues with it, and one of my big issues with the way the arc ended was basically the same as my issues with how Savage was introduced in the last episode. And that is, I just didn't like the way they did it. I would have done it differently, basically, and it all goes back to Ventress having a second chance to, or having this big chance to turn her life around and not taking it. I had a big issue with that. Okay, now we will be seeing Ventress again. She will pop up in season 5, definitely, we will see her. I think also in season 4, she'll pop up in a couple of episodes. And season 6, I think she'll pop up in season 6. And we'll also be seeing Savage again. Definitely season 5. He will play a big role in season 5. And I think we'll be seeing him at least in a few episodes in season 4 as well. I'm not sure. I can't remember that. It's been a while since I've actually seen season 5, so, or season 4, so we'll find out once we get to that point. But I know for a fact he pops up in season 5, and he will have a surprise ally. But I'll tell you more about that when we get to it. Okay, question of the week. Do you think the leader of the men knew exactly what was going on, or do you think he was in as much of the dark as the Jedi were? Please leave your answers in the comment section. Also, feel free to leave your comments and questions in the comment section. I do love to read those. And please like and share this video if you are watching it on Facebook, or like and subscribe if you are watching it on YouTube. And feel free to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, and DeviantArt. I do have my name for those 4 sites right there on the screen, as well as the pictures I use for the icons. Please note, all pictures seen within this video belong to their respective artists. I own absolutely nothing. Okay, quick reminder on my comment rules. Okay, feel free to check out my related Star Wars videos. My other TV Talk Star Wars videos. My other TV Talk videos. And my other videos. Hey, before I sign off, one thing I'd like to touch on, and that is to please note that my TV Talk videos on Star Wars, obviously, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and DreamWorks Dragons will be posted both to my Facebook page and my YouTube channel. All other TV Talk videos will be posted exclusively to my Facebook page. If you'd like to check out any of those TV Talk videos or the backlogged videos on Star Wars, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and or DreamWorks Dragons, you can feel free to check them out on my Facebook page. I will have the link in the description section. As always, thank you for watching, and may the Force be with you.